3 down and 3 to go. Will the play caller change to Dana Holgorsen bowl over USC to get Magic win number 6? AD Troy Dannen and Eric Crouch are on the show tonight for their perspective, along with Jay and Sean. It's time for Big Red Wrap-Up. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Severe, and welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Public Media. With an offensive coordinator change, we want to hear from you. We want what you think. So, lots to cover tonight. We can't do it without you. All you have to do is call. Phones are standing by, ready for your calls. Before, you can also text or email us your comments and questions at bigred@nebraskapublicmedia.org. We're also monitoring our social media accounts tonight as well. Send us your thoughts on a Big Red Wrap-Up page, X account, and we'll answer as many questions as we can. Time for our sideline survey. Last week, we asked you, how will Nebraska finish the season? And a lot of people were negative. 0-3, 46%, 33% 1-2, 17% 2-1, and only 4% said 3-0. This week's question, what's your grade on the hiring of Dana Holgorsen as offensive coordinator? You can go A through F, as you see early on, a solid B at 49%. We have someone who can help us with questions about that. Joining me and Jay Moore and Sean Callahan is the athletic director of the University of Nebraska, Troy Dannen. So what do you think of those grades?
I probably wouldn't have picked 0-3, and I certainly would have been the guy that said F on there on that survey. But hey, the jury's out on everything, right? And you know, on paper, I've known Dana for a while, not in the same capacity that Matt has, and I love Dana. You know, we played against him when I was at Tulane. He was at Houston, and I know the regard my coach had for going up against his offense. Mm-hmm. I spent a little time with him personally, and I like him a lot personally. So I was thrilled when Matt decided to make the move, and sure feels like we got the right guy.
Troy, how unique is this situation to do it, though, at this time? But at the same point, the rules changed this year that you can do this a lot easier than even a year ago.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to a few people the last couple of days, and no one can recite a time when a coordinator on either side of the ball got let go and was replaced by someone from the outside in season, particularly in week 9 or week 10. So it's unusual. However, I think the fact that you have a guy who's been a head coach multiple places and been around the game, and a guy like Matt who's experienced, you know, everything aligns for why it can happen. You know, I wouldn't say it can happen every place, and I think everybody will look at this around the country. There's a lot of coordinator jobs open right now, and I think people are looking with a close eye on what happens at Nebraska to see how that exactly works out.
Troy, obviously, Sean already said a lot of changes coming within college football. Obviously, a lot changes next year as well with revenue sharing. How is Nebraska situating themselves to handle the revenue sharing heading into 2025 and positioning themselves to be at the top of everything going forward in college athletics?
You know, we've talked since the settlement was first announced, you know, how the Big Red N got to be the Big Red N. And it really came from being innovative and being a leader along the way. You know, from the strength program to the nutrition program to having the 100 suites before anybody understood you needed 100 suites to monetize your football stadium. This is that opportunity for us now, is to use this rule change, use this evolution of the game to really jump ahead, be innovators and be leaders. And I think the one thing I've noticed internally is the great work that's been done by my predecessors to make this a financially sound, and not just sound maybe, but a financial behemoth that we can withstand and invest into what's happening rather than have to cut our way to it, and really gives us a competitive advantage. You know, the one thing about AD's coaches, you know, everything is about where's our competitive advantage, and I think we found it. We'll be in good shape. There's just a lot of changes, and a lot of things will be hard for people to accept. The idea of paying players is hard when you grew up in an era when it was verboten. The idea from a player standpoint, you know, the rosters are going to constrict a little bit, and it's going to look a little bit different. There are things we're all going to get used to, but it's just part of natural evolution, or maybe it's a revolution. But as things evolve, if you don't accept them, you'll get run over. And this is something we're going to accept and embrace and be the one that runs others over.
Troy, not only is Sean Callahan a South Omaha guy, he's also a South Stadium guy. Everybody wants to know what's going to happen with the renovations, what's starting with South. What are you guys going to do?
Well, we can keep a seat for Sean in the
Row
south
88.
if you really want it.
Just give it to him and take home.
Those are my dad's seats still.
No, I think the plan right now, and obviously we've got to get approvals, my president, the board, but we're working toward what I think will be a post-26, post-27, really thorough renovation of the stadium. South has to come down. To tie everything else together, there's no keep a little bit of it, or it has to come down. I think we can rebuild half of it and put some temporaries in to really protect our capacity for 27 before that's finalized in 28. And then the east and the west, maybe east chairbacks, west, anywhere from doing chairbacks to really taking inside the tower down and reconstructing it. There's a lot of deferred maintenance underneath there, and whether if we just cover it up, I'm not sure that we don't just buy ourselves some more problems down the line. And that's what the architects right now and the engineers are working on, and building a sound financial model. Going forward, the stadium has to provide the amenities of the day. We talk about the sellout streak a lot, and part of it, there's a lot of alternatives for people now than to go to Memorial Stadium. And we want people to be comfortable and enjoy when they get there. The quality of play's got to be good, right? But we also,
and Wi-Fi.
You're going to have alcohol. Wi-Fi will be there when the stadium's done. So make it as good of an experience. We're going to have a scoreboard in there that hopefully will dwarf almost any other scoreboard in the country to make it feel awesome when you get in there. So that's all part of it. But at its core, besides doing that for all those reasons, the financial model in athletics is changing, and the idea that the stadium can help generate new money to fund, we'll continue to pay players, right, and the revenue sharing will continue to increase. And I've said this before, I think I said it last week to Sean, we can't just keep raising ticket prices in an effort to take on the new financial initiatives that lie ahead. So more premium, more options, more ways to generate revenue outside of just charging more for the tickets in the stadium. That's the long-term recipe to financial success.
We've seen the capacity over the last 25, 30 years go from 72 to 93, back to about 86 where we're at now. I mean, do you have an idea, a magic number of what is the right capacity when you do all these improvements?
My guess is the number is going to be right around 80, maybe a tinge underneath of it. I haven't seen final plans yet. We have 19-inch seats throughout the stadium, and no one's 19 inches any longer. And when you put chairbacks, you can't put a 19-inch chairback in. So just the chairbacks alone at 21 inches are going to start to consume some space. So there will be a little bit less. My guess is when the stadium's all done, we'll start looking at north and figure out the ways to do something in north and maybe get those seats back. I do know, the demand curve has trailed off in a lot of places. It has not in Nebraska. And I think the one thing we have to guard against is creating an environment where people actually can't get in. Because I don't anticipate another 8-year run without going to a bowl game, or 7-year run without going to a bowl game. And the one thing I thought it was this way, but in the face of success, what Husker fans can do and what they want to do and how they want to embrace this program, we have to build a stadium that's going to account for the success we expect to have long term.
Joe, I think it's funny, we talk about all the stadium renovations, South Stadium, all these things, but something that's kind of fell through the cracks is the transition to grass inside the stadium. So what's that process looking like for Nebraska that's been turf for 50 plus years now to go to a natural surface?
It has. So first, before we get there, we will have new turf in the stadium next year.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to put new turf in Hawks immediately after this season. So hopefully by the time the second semester starts for the sports that use Hawks indoor, there'll be new turf in there. And then after spring ball, we will put new turf in the stadium. The reason for it is that the turf, when I say it's failing, it's not the best turf. It's not state-of-the-art turf. And I was here for the spring game early on. We had 2 knee injuries, guys that aren't back yet. Right. And you just can't have that. So we want to get the best turf. And knowing, though, that grass is ultimately the safest surface that we can have. But because of the construction, and a lot of the construction will have to be done inside out, we'll just tear the field to bits. So with the turf, with what we're putting in, we'll be able to actually roll the turf in the off seasons, do work, and then put the turf back down. Ultimately, when we go to grass, once the stadium's all done, which I would expect is probably the 28th season when everything is done, go to grass. That turf will just move outside the stadium. We'll repurpose it, have a place for the band to practice, because when that baby's grass, there's nobody going on it. It is going to be pristine and protected.
You mentioned you don't foresee another bowl drought. How important is it getting this win over these next 3 to get that bowl?
You know, it's important in a lot of ways. You know, one, I'm about ready to go out and try to raise $100 million to do a stadium renovation.
Yeah.
And you know, I want people to, like, I feel it, but people aren't walking around the same halls that I'm walking around and understand it. And the burden of the bad run over the last decade or so, I don't bear it.
Sure.
I wear it because of the job, but I haven't experienced what a lot of our fans have experienced. Coach hasn't experienced it. So while we feel it's good, I think our fans need it. That's the demarcation of progress, I think, for a lot of people. So you can say there's extra pressure there or not, but when I got here, you know, I went around to all the coaches in all the sports, and you know, you ask why and why not.
Right.
Why, John Cook, are you doing what you're doing, and why not in places that we haven't been able to get it done? And the only thing I can tell you is this: I think, with a lot of respect to the past here, we quit adapting a little bit internally, operationally in the department, after the 3 championships of the 90s. And you know, as a result, now we're playing catch up a little bit as we move into the Big Ten. So we have to get our operation right. This is bigger than football. And I would say a lot of sports can win in isolation. Football can't win unless everything in the department is running full steam. And I'm not saying, I'm not sure we're all there. So trying to get all the support mechanisms, from academics to development to marketing to everything, up to a speed that supports championship level football, the coaches and the players have to have that in order to achieve what they want.
Troy, something else you talked about was finding new revenue streams, putting more events in Memorial Stadium. You discussed possibility of a Bud Crawford fight, a concert tour series. Just how far away are we from some of those things? Could we see events in the stadium this summer?
I don't know that we'll see it. I'm not sure what's touring. You know, and we've had conversations with promoters. We've had conversations with third parties who work with the promoters. You know, because we don't have that necessarily that expertise. But you know, is it UFC? Is it WWE? Is it what goes into stadiums? Look around the country and let's just try to figure out what we can get in there. Now, I've mentioned this. I have a placeholder in the budget for next fiscal year, which is July to June of 25 to 26. 2 shows, 2 events in there. You know, and you know, hopefully it happens. There is nothing booked in there just yet, but that is a pursuit. We have to use the stadium. We're going to invest, you know, tens if not hundreds of millions of dollars in renovating the stadium. It needs to be used more than 7 days a year.
Troy, you talked about adapting to the changes and obviously going forward. How important is 1890 playing with this in this relationship with the Pede family and everything that they've stepped up and just said, you know, we're willing to help in any way and fashion, but how important have they been to just getting, you know, adapting to these new changes of new college athletics? I
would say, and I don't think this is overstating it, had they not stepped up in the way and when they stepped up, we would have fallen further to our knees, and I'm not sure we would have gotten back up. And you know, it had NIL, whether you liked it or not, had to be embraced, and those behind the collective, the Pede family in particular, but there's a lot of folks who've given lots of money to that collective. They embraced it, maybe when we didn't necessarily internally, but they embraced it, and now I think we've caught up to them, and we're working in great partnership with them. This year, you know, we, when I say we collectively, because our fundraisers, our development officers are raising money for the collective. And one of the things we did that I think we were the first in the country that say that money could count toward your Husker Athletics Fund points. And now everybody's doing that. So again, it's one of those where we took an initiative, we did it, and all of a sudden everybody thinks this is a pretty good idea. We need to do what Nebraska does. And so that mentality of, I don't want to worry about what Ohio State's doing or Penn State's doing. I want Ohio State and Penn State to start worrying about what Nebraska's doing. And I think where we're going right now with the collective in really full partnership with everybody at 1890 has allowed us to get in a position. It's why we have a quarterback. It's why the recruiting class is, as Sean knows, as highly rated as it is.
The big ones are coming.
And that's exactly right. So, but all of those things need to be working together, and I think we're in a great place.
What about the 12-team playoff? We had another pool that came out today. What's your feel on that? How long do you think it lasts before we expand it? What's your feel on it?
I do think it'll expand. I don't know if it'll go to 16, but I could see 14 coming. But when I say I love it because in the month of November, right now there are 20 schools fighting for a shot, thinking they have a chance, instead of last year this time there were 6. And so, you're always going to have a debate and discussion point about the last 2 at-larges, right? And then how the seeding works. But there's great debate, and that's the entertainment value in it. But the one thing I think you're seeing, and why the 12-team playoffs are particularly valid right now, the transfer portal, if nothing else, has distributed talent across. There was a fear, right, when the transfer portal and NIL came, that all talent would consolidate in 5 places. In fact, just the opposite has happened. And that's why you see this logjam in the Big Ten of everybody being anywhere from 6-4 to 4-6. Outside of maybe those top 4, the talent is spread, and things happen in a weekend that maybe surprise us, but it shouldn't, because there's more talent at more schools. I think that's good for the game. I am worried about TV ratings, because that $200 million budget that Nebraska carries, a third of it's going to come from television and television viewers. And so it's really, really important to us that people stay engaged in the game.
That you mentioned the SEC and the Big Ten, 8 of the 12 spots in the playoff this year could be from those 2 leagues. You were in Nashville about a month ago with the leaders from the Big Ten and the SEC. You guys talked about maybe future collaboration. Is there anything more you could discuss, just where this could all head with the 2 leagues working together?
No, and I don't know. I might even stop short of whether there was a lot of collaboration. It was just more of, we're similarly situated in this era, and a lot of changes in our structure and how we operationalizing those changes in the face of the House antitrust case. How the playoff works, the one thing I do know about antitrust, because I did pass econ that one year I took it when I was in college, is that a lot of collaboration leads to additional antitrust violations. So I think understanding where people are at, the SEC is going to operate in its way, the Big Ten's going to operate in its way, but for the good of the game, the good of football, all 4 leagues, the group of 5 leagues, FCS, Division II, Division III, we all have to protect the game of football. And I hope at whatever point in time, while the SEC and the Big Ten have a big voice right now and maybe a lot of muscle, there's responsibility that comes with that voice and that muscle. And that is to make sure we protect all levels of college football, because that's what protects high school football. And if you believe, like I do, football is a great game with great lessons that come from it. This isn't the NFL. And there are a lot of things that maybe look like the NFL and start to feel like the NFL. But at the end of the day, Friday and Saturday football is I think, core to the culture of the country. And so I hope we protect the responsibility that we have.
Such a whirlwind from you, from Tulane to Washington to here. Are you having fun? Have you settled down, first of all? You having fun?
No, I've not settled down. I'm having a ball. You come to Nebraska because you want people to be mad when you're 5-4. By golly, I've heard from them the last few weeks. But you come to Nebraska because people care. They're engaged. I call it the give a darn factor is so high here. Great things happen when you have that give a darn factor. So loving that, loving our coaching staff is absurd. The quality of coaches we have, the staff is loyal and caring, has the right interests at heart. The staff has to work to put the coaches and the athletes in a position to succeed, and I don't worry about that here. So you talk about all the things that have to be in place. I'm tired when I go home, and I can't wait to wake up in the morning. It's a great place. Nice. I've probably spoken 75 times around the state. Growing up in Iowa, and I know Iowa and Nebraska have this thing, but culturally, I think we're very similar people, that we care for one another, put a lot of passion, and there's a lot of work ethic every place you go. So for me and my wife, it's been fun to get back into this environment and feel right at home.
Sean, last one. Want to jump on him?
Stump me here.
I'm sorry.
Bowl game stuff, I guess.
Yes.
I know we don't want to jinx anything, but what kind of interest do you think bowl partners would have in Nebraska if they got to bowl eligibility?
Well, I will say this: we've had perfect weather for our first 6 games, and the crowds have been fantastic. The atmosphere, particularly for those night games, was special. And there were a lot of bowl reps in through those games. I had a chance to talk to all of them. The only people that want Nebraska back in the bowl system more than Nebraskans are the bowl reps.
Oh, yeah.
And so there will be a long list of people fighting to get us back. It's been a while. They know our fans are looking forward to going someplace. And so, hopefully we get to that point. But, the fan base here carries a reputation and a brand bigger than anybody thinks it is. And I know when you live here, you think it's something else. But this brand, this fan base means more nationally than I think anybody understands. And so we have a long list of friends out there waiting for us to come, wherever it is.
No doubt.
Get it done.
Hey, Troy, we appreciate thanks for taking the time.
No, I appreciate the invitation. It was good to talk.
It was great
Thanks.
talking to you. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch. We'll talk about a bunch of things with him, including thoughts on Dylan Raiola and the Huskers overall. Thanks to Hurrdat for the pictures they provide all season long. We'll be back in 2 minutes on Big Red Wrap-Up. The Heisman Memorial Trophy.
It is the most prestigious award in sports. It gives me great honor to announce this year's winner of the 2001 Heisman Memorial Trophy. And the winner is Eric Crouch, University of Nebraska.
And I just want to say that I'm so excited to be a part of this elite group of players. And I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you very much.
Eric.
It was one of the closest votes in Heisman history, but Eric Crouch dominated the first place voting, and now he joins us on Big Red Wrap-Up. Let me first say, early happy birthday.
All right.
Saturday, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday. You'd be
Getting old, man.
29, right?
Yeah, 29.
29 years old. So you're sitting there, you're watching Nebraska play, and you got a freshman quarterback out there, and they change his offensive coordinator with 3 games left. Put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
How would you be feeling?
I don't think it's going to be like a huge. They're not going to try to change it all up on him. I mean, that would be really tough. So I don't know. I'd be looking at some of the things that might be different and exciting that maybe that he hasn't been able to do, and there's been some struggles that I think he wants to improve on. So. Honestly, I think you just got to keep positive. I mean, I know this is kind of a strange thing going on right now, but honestly, just take the best of it and roll. Like, kind of fun. That's what it's about.
When you look at the offense, Eric, and what they've done well at times this year, and then what's happened the last month, I mean, what would you like to see more of from this group on offense?
It's just kind of been like a little bit of a missing identity. You kind of use that term a little bit. You'd like to see, a little bit more success running the football. I think it's going to help them throwing the football. The big plays, I'd like to see a few more big plays and intermediate throws. It's either kind of you're trying for a deep ball or it's kind of a short pass. I think the intermediate pass is important. But yeah, you just got to find something that works, and you got to practice it. And I think you just got to find something that you're good at and that you're willing to replicate and be consistent. So we just haven't seen that consistency out of the offense this year.
Put yourself in Dylan's shoes coming in
Yeah.
here in this situation, the high expectations, playing as a true freshman, his dad being, had played so well in a long NFL career, just the pressure that comes with not only playing quarterback at Nebraska, you know that very well, but coming as a true freshman with such high expectations and wanting to deliver on that and seeing some struggles now through, 9 games of the year.
I think we all forget he's a freshman.
Yep.
I mean, he's coming in here as a true freshman, not somebody that sat like I did and learned the system. So he's come in from high school football last year to play at this level, which I think is tough to do. And he's doing a lot of great things. I mean, leading a lot of the categories for freshman quarterback. So I really got a lot of faith in Dylan Raiola. Love the family. I think he's in a place that he really wants to be. He's a hard worker. He's got a heck of an arm. He's smart. I think you got all the things there that you want out of a quarterback that can really succeed here at Nebraska.
You said something great earlier. You said just have fun.
Yeah.
There's so much money in it now. Obviously, there's pressure to get Nebraska back to a bowl game and back to where they were before. How hard is it to just have fun?
Well, I mean, as the season's kind of gone along, I've seen a little less of that fun out of Dylan, and he's got a personality. I know his dad,
Yep.
and I know his brother, his dad's brother, was a quarterback for both of them. But I'd like to see that come out of him a little bit more, where he's really enjoying this game and not feeling like the pressure, not feeling like I've got to perform well, but just going out, playing the game, having fun, and just, doing what you do. I mean, it's just go out and be an athlete and be that player that he can be. And I think he's going to get there. He's had a pretty solid freshman year, and I'm hoping that that progression from your freshman to your sophomore year, it really will take hold for him.
Yeah.
Eric,
Real quick, Donovan was your center, the Nighthawk.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yep,
So yeah, yep.
Eric, how much do you, when you talk about NIL and whatnot, and guys from your era, how much do you guys joke around how much money your Rose Bowl team would have had? You were the Heisman winner.
We talk a lot about it.
And you got nailed for a ham sandwich.
I was thinking the same thing.
Where was the ham sandwich from?
I'm looking for a ham sandwich these days,
Right.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just the way the game is changed a lot. And, for me at that time, I think it would have been awesome to have all this money, but I was excited to be on the team, number one, playing the game that I loved, getting a free education. So there were just things, would it have been nice to be able to have a nice car and have a little, fancier place to live or go out to eat and do all that stuff? Yeah, I think so. I hope those guys get to enjoy that and not forget about what their job is with school and with sports. Troy mentioned, there's still a lot of that greatness out of college football and high school football that you can still be there, and hopefully that never goes away at this level.
Eric, Dylan got banged up last game.
Yeah.
He's dealing with the back injury. You played plenty of time hurt, injured. Talk about just not being 100% and playing the most important position on the field when you're not 100% healthy.
Yeah, I remember playing a lot of games, hurt. And that's part of it. You understand it, and that's just the way it goes. It's really a mental toughness thing, and sometimes it's a physical toughness that you just can't get past. Like the injury's too much. That's been the case too. I remember games where I couldn't play. I was a freshman, Oklahoma State, had a hip pointer in that game. Couldn't go out against A&M the next week. So there's just things that can happen that will keep you from playing the game. But I know he's tough. If he can do it, he's going to do it.
Can it almost be like just a quick follow-up? You always hear about guys, the flu game, right?
Yeah.
You kind of lower expectations and things just kind of happen. Can it almost benefit maybe a younger player that kind of slows you down a little bit because you are banged up?
Sure.
And just kind of quiet the mind?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a lot going on this last couple of weeks for him in his head, and especially with, bringing a new coach in and, mid-season. So I hope that, again, that, they can just connect. The team can do a nice job of just, hey, let's go out and have fun. Let's make some plays, have some fun, and lead this team and do what you came to Nebraska to do. And I know he's going to put the time in. He knows this game, but I think it's probably that time where now is like, let's just find these things that he go to him. Hey, what do you like on third down? What are you comfortable with? This is the time that coach and player can really react with each other and know, like, what do I like to throw in this coverage? And just have those things written down, have them in the game plan, and go with them.
Last year you went down there, you helped out a little bit. What do you think about the way Matt Rhule tries to embrace the past? I know he does a really good job of bringing you guys down. Can you talk a little about that?
No, right when I met Matt, and he asked me to come and talk to the team, and that was great. I really appreciate that. He's been a friend of mine. I got full support that he's going to do a great job here at Nebraska, and it's just good to be part of it. As the years have gone by, I've just walking into campus today, you just kind of go back to those times that you played in Nebraska when you're here at college, and it's like, wow, this is awesome. I wish I could do this your whole life, but but that's kind of the beauty about being back. You get to kind of take your mind to that place and then share things with the coaches and the players, and hopefully you can help. So just being around, I think is awesome, and it's good for me too, just to be around the players and the coaching staff and the program, and come to Lincoln and be on your guys' show, and it's just good to be around. It's not very far away from me, and sometimes you get in that work rut where you're just working and you kind of, your head is down, but it's always nice to peek up and be part of Nebraska football.
On that topic of head coaches, how special was it for you to see Frank Solich get his due at Nebraska? I mean, you guys won a lot of games. You're the last conference champion. You won a Heisman. You played for a national title. And, he was almost banished for 20 years. To have Frank get that opportunity to come back, how special was that for you?
Well, it was great. I always love seeing, my coach and supporting him, and I'll be there in Las Vegas supporting him as he gets his, College Football Hall of Fame induction. That's going to be really nice. And again, just being part of that and having him, join that group. It's, I'm just so happy for him and for Pam. And there was this tough time where he had to go through here at Nebraska, and he didn't want to be back. And so the times that he's come back, I think this has been great for him. It's been a little bit emotional, but I think the support that the fans, the players have given him have been well worth him coming back.
We saw that video of you, young Eric Crouch, getting the Heisman.
Yeah, that's right.
Talk about your kids now. How's that going?
Great, man. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Carson, he's doing a great job. Jeff Jamrock's coaching him at Midland.
Yeah.
He's a junior. He got hurt this last week, so he's probably going to have to sit out that last game. But he's playing safety. He's really enjoying it. And I love watching him play. He's just continuing to grow as a football player, as a young man. It's kind of that time in their lives. And my daughter Lexi's doing great. She's been working for us now for about 3 years at the company, and we're kind of putting her through the ringer, kind of teaching her a little bit of everything. So she's still got a long ways to go, but that's what parents are for. You got to keep coaching them up.
And we saw the Heisman ceremony video. Eric, you go back to that every year, obviously. How fun is that? You get to be a Johnny and Rozier and obviously connect with every Heisman winner. What is that weekend like? I mean, how many days are you out there, and what are some of your favorite parts of that weekend?
It's changing a little bit. I think as college football is changing, this weekend's going to get a little bit shorter. They're going to do things a little bit differently. But, I've really enjoyed going back and being a part of that group and getting to know, the winners and their family members. And Danny Werfel and I are working on some things with the Heisman Trust that I think are going to be really helpful for the former winners in the future. So that's been fun, just, to be part of that group and to get to know those guys differently. And, for me, I had a great experience. I wasn't really expecting to win the Heisman Trophy. Didn't have a speech prepared for it. Obviously, forgot to thank my team, which I always want to take the opportunity to thank my coaches and my teammates, right? But yeah, it's just good to be there and support that winner that's coming in and to be able to give them that hug and welcome to the club. Yep.
This year's winner could be a little bit different. Could be a guy who plays both ways in Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Thoughts on watching him play 100? I think he played 170 plays this past weekend.
You turn the TV on and you're like, there's no way this guy can just keep doing this, you know, and he just keeps on keeping on. And it's just amazing the plays that he's able to make. He's an electric player. He's tough. He's got a lot of skill, and he's put himself in a position to, you know, potentially win the Heisman Trophy, which is a pretty cool thing to have.
Can you vote for a Colorado guy?
No, I mean, over the years, it's funny. You get that vote, and, and I'd never take it out on any team that took it out on me, you know. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting year, and this is really the time that I kind of tune in a little bit. You know, that month of November is important as players and teams kind of, you know, hit that important part of the season, and you know, there's a lot of things that can happen in November. So, you know, I love watching it and being part of that. And that's kind of what keeps me involved too, because I like voting for this, and making my vote really means something. So, you know, paying attention, watching games, you know, not overly watching games, but just paying attention and, you know, reading articles, watching some things, just kind of knowing what's happening out there. And really, I do want, you know, the guys that start putting themselves ahead of others, I really do want to watch them play in games that really mean something. You know, those big games where you gotta show up and you gotta have some Heisman moment happen, right?
Yeah. I talked to my father-in-law, and you know, he goes back to the big 6 days and then Big 8. Is it strange sometimes when you look at the Big 10 standings and you're seeing USC and UCLA and Oregon and Washington in there?
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, you know, kind of coast to coast now.
Yeah,
and it's just you kind of wonder like how hard that is traveling and playing, you know, teams all over. But Nebraska has a nice spot right in the middle, so traveling for Nebraska is not too bad. But yeah, it's weird because, you know, now, you know, used to watch those teams play late at night, and you're like, okay, now we're watching, you know, Big 12, former Big 8, Big 12 teams playing late at night. So it's interesting, but it's also fun to see where this is going.
Eric, we appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time. Good luck on the business and
thank you.
Everything you're getting done.
Always glad to be part of it. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Great talking with you.
Yeah.
Coming up, we're going to chat a little bit more about the change on top of the offense and discuss what it could mean in the closing weeks of Big Ten play. Thanks to Hurrdat again for all the pictures this season in the Big Ten. More to come up next here on Big Red Wrap-Up.
Dylan, we'll try to practice tomorrow. We'll see where he's at. We'll get both him and Heinrich ready. Obviously, we made the move with Dana last week. He will call the plays this week and serve as the offensive coordinator moving forward. Called him last week. Had him come in. Had him kind of look at everything. I think he's got a long history of success offensively, both as a head coach, but certainly as a coordinator before that. And I think he just kind of gives us a fresh perspective on looking at kind of what we're doing and who we're doing it with, and was able to sort of say, hey, let's kind of go in these directions over here. So, I just think it gives us a great opportunity to have one of the great offensive minds, a guy that I've been friends with before and I trust, and excited to see what he does. This is about bringing in Coach Holgorsen. Is about helping our offense be better this week against USC. It's about helping our offense be better next year. It's just about everything moving forward. And I think that so many things that we're doing are right and are trending in the right direction. This was an area that was struggling, and I tried to fix it. I hadn't been able to fix it, so I called someone that I knew could fix it. And I think Dana will fix it, and Tony will continue to do a great job, and special teams will continue to improve and play better, and strength program will continue. We're out on the road recruiting. Like, we're going to continue to recruit well. We'll continue to learn how things are in the new Big Ten.
Welcome back to Big Red Wrap Up inside the studio at Nebraska Public Media. I'm Michael Severe, joined by Sean Callahan. Big flip, possibly. You heard a lot about Dawson Merritt over the last months. What's going on with that?
Yeah, keep your eyes on this one. Matt Rule was there a few weeks back over the first bye week to watch Dawson Merritt play. They've continued to recruit him. And I think right now at On3, we have an RPM where you make your predictions. And several predictions have come in tonight for Dawson Merritt to flip to Nebraska. And he would no doubt give them obviously one of the top recruits in this class.
Yeah, position?
Linebacker. I mean, he's a true linebacker, and his dad actually works for the Kansas City Chiefs. So, and you got to give Jamar Mosey a lot of credit if this happens. I mean, Nebraska's really emphasized Kansas City, emphasized Missouri, and that's our next guy, Jackson Cantwell as well. Nebraska, the other recruit Matt Rule saw over the bye week was Jackson Cantwell. So top 5-star player in the country, a 2026 offensive tackle, also one of the top shot put throwers in America. I believe he had the best high school mark last year for all high school athletes.
Wow.
So, just a machine. He's already got representation from Drew Rosenhaus's agency. So he's a high school junior, and he is signed to work with one of the top agents in the NFL. And we had Jeremiah Searles on here a couple weeks ago, and he said, as an agent, they are getting down to the high school ranks. And Jackson Cantwell, I mean, to sign with one of the most well-known agencies in the NFL really tells you what kind of impact NIL and the NFL has had, even in high school recruiting.
What about our featured recruit?
Yeah, our featured recruit tonight is Brian Tapu out of Utah. He's actually an overseas player that moved to Utah, and the connection with Nebraska with him is Tonu Fonoti, a former Husker, is coaching him at his high school right now in Utah. A big tackle body that can play on the perimeter, international kind of high upside guy that Nebraska was able to get this summer. Committed to Oregon State for a couple of days. Didn't really quite understand the recruiting process being a foreigner, and kind of realized, I didn't really want to do that. And he switched his commitment to Nebraska to give them another Polynesian offensive lineman to play with Donovan Raiola.
So, and our in-state recruit is one of the more dynamic players in the state, of Marion Jackson. Talk about him a little bit. Yeah,
Marion Jackson, you look at him at Millard South as a sophomore, had one of the best sophomore seasons ever. For a receiver in the state. Picked up multiple Power 4 offers from Iowa, Minnesota, Kansas State, among others. As a junior, a lot more names joined that offense. Deshaun Prince transferred from Omaha Central or Omaha Benson.
No, Central.
Central.
Benson, then Central, then
to go play at Millard South. Right. And then Chase Lofton left Elkhorn North. So the number of weapons this Millard South team has with Jet Tamala, but Marion Jackson, definitely a Division I guy. It remains to be seen where he kind of falls with Nebraska. He had he looked good running routes at camp, but I think the question is
Top speed.
top end speed.
Top end speed.
Kind of reminds you a little bit of Xavier Watts. He was not a top end speed guy, but he was a football player with great instincts. Not a receiver at the D1 level. Notre Dame made him a safety, and there's been some talk. People in the Omaha circles say like he could end up being a better defensive back, almost like Xavier Watts is currently at Notre Dame.
Yeah, X1, the Defensive Player of the Year in college football, too. Sean, we appreciate it. Thanks. All right, let's take an early look at the results of this week's survey. What is your grade on the hiring of Dana Holgorsen? Early grade. So right now we're sitting, see, that's somebody just messing around. 55% says F, 23% say B, 16% say A, and then you got about 6% for C, and then D, 0%. I think that'll change as we go along. People probably messing around right now. This week around the Big Ten, the Indiana Hoosiers have a 10-win season for the first time ever. And defending national champion Michigan needs a win over Northwestern or Ohio State to be bowl eligible. And the college ball rankings released, the Big Ten has done such a great job sitting there, 4 of the top 5, somewhere around there. Indiana's the one I think people have questions about where they fit. To me, even the games that were close, they dominated.
Yeah, they were. I mean, their closest game against Michigan was Michigan could have beat them, but they took care of business. You're going to have that during the season. Teams are alert now. They know how good Indiana can be. I know it's the knock on them is the strength of schedule. How many winning teams have they beaten throughout the year? But this game against Ohio State,
it's huge.
It's huge, and I think it's at Ohio State and Horseshoe. But
it's off a bye.
But I like the way they prepare, and I'd like them in this situation to kind of step up and say, hey, look at us. We're the real deal. Yeah. And I think Indiana is the real deal.
I think game control is something they're looking at still. Game control pretty well for them. So what was the feeling? Dana, obviously back in January or whatever, you knew his name was out there, but when the announcement was made that he was actually going to be the OC and call plays, what was that feeling like?
Yeah, it happened so quickly. I mean, when Dana was here in January, it was a few days. He was, met with a lot of people, talked to a lot of people. It looked promising, and nobody really knew if it was to be kind of a high-end analyst or even the position that Glenn Thomas currently has, because Glenn Thomas was still coaching with the Steelers, not announced yet at that point. So there was question at that time. But I think Holgorsen was only interested to come here to run the offense, to be a play caller. And that opportunity did not come until this week. It is such a unique, as you heard Troy Dannon say, such a unique situation to do this. I mean, basically, flip out chefs in the kitchen with 3 games left, but say, hey, you're running the same menu and same ingredients. And the guy that had your job before is going to go still work in the kitchen for you now. I mean, it is such a unique situation. And I think a lot of people are curious how this is going to look the final 3 weeks.
Jay, there are people that look and they go, how can you possibly change stuff this quickly with the bye week? I remember a firing happened, Chenander's gone, they can't tackle. A week later, Bill Busch comes in and all of a sudden, they're a whole different looking defense. You can make changes.
Oh, 100%. You can, especially during the bye week. And I think, in a situation like this, it's to just really try to simplify things. I think Nebraska has struggled, obviously, finding a groove. You saw things executed much more efficiently in those first 4 games. And all of a sudden, something happened. You get more film, see how Dylan operates. You see what he's successful with, what he struggles with. Teams start bringing more pressures. And he obviously, being a young guy, things are moving pretty quickly for him. But help settle him down. Get him comfortable in some early play calls, get some success going early on for him, getting the run game going, keeping those defenses on their heels a little bit early on. I mean, USC, you're kind of like, what are we going to see? Are we going to see some air raid concepts? Are we going to see what Nebraska's been doing? You kind of don't know. I know you're not going to make drastic changes, but you got to imagine as USC's defensive coordinator, you got to be scratching your head a little bit about how they're going to try to attack you on Saturday afternoon. But I love the ability just to say, hey, let's make a change. It is drastic, but man, you got to do something to get this thing going in the right direction, and how important it is to get to a bowl game yet this year and to get this thing moving in the right direction. And I applaud Matt Rule for doing this because this is very abnormal. But I think that shows his relationship with his offensive coaches and his staff, that he can go to them and say, hey, I'm going to make these changes. And Sack could easily said, okay, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home, but he's staying here and still coaching. So I think that just shows you the camaraderie and the trust they have within the staff, which is really unique. I would guess 95% of the coaches around the nation would say, I'm gone.
Right.
So I'm excited to see how it turns out.
You look at a guy like Holgorsen and what his offense does. Getting wide receivers open, that's the job of that offense. Always has been, going back to Hal Mumme. Do you feel a little bit better about those two big wide receivers? We've talked so much about getting off a press and everything coming up.
And we've talked about this a lot, Michael. Like the last month, 6 weeks, just the press coverages and the struggles Nebraska's had to get open against man-to-man defense with capable receivers who have proven Division I production. You know, we're not talking about projects. I mean, you look at both these guys, Naor and Banks, they have production over their careers. Why can't they get open? Is the quality of defense that much better? It's better than probably what these guys have played in. But you've got to figure out ways to space these guys out, get them open. In the running game, can they figure out how to run the ball where the safeties for the defense don't play so far back? Because that has killed this offense. When you watch Nebraska play right now, the safeties play so deep because they don't respect the run, then that takes away the deep ball, and the receivers always have someone over the top, which has really limited Nebraska the last month.
What you see a lot here, though, is a lot of crossing routes, a lot of mesh concepts. First of all, I don't think you're going to see a lot of two high. I think you're going to see more one high. Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from that offense and what you expect to see? Well, we hope to expect to see.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. The rub routes, mesh concepts, motions, getting people in bunch formations, and just utilizing ability to just not get in a static formation to where they can line up on you, jam you, press you. You got to be able to get yourself some free releases, utilizing your tight end appropriately.
Yep.
I think that's been one area you've seen. I mean, we've seen Fedoni against Indiana. You know, it's probably his best game, but I'd like to see him utilize more, and I think you will continue to see him utilize more. But when you get these coverages, whether, you know, as defensively, and you look in these situations, whether you're playing, you know, cover 6, quarter, half, cover 9, half, quarter, whatever, 3, you know, you get all these in-depth scenarios. You got to stress out your linebackers, and you got to get linebackers in space. And this is what these offenses do, to where when you get that linebacker out in the slot formation, he's covering a running back, a tight, whatever it is, that's uncomfortable for him. And you got to have the communication, the proper communication with the corner, with the safety, and other inside linebackers to say, hey, I need help here. We got to kind of change some things. You got to put them in a tough situation. I think this offense does that. I just think of, you know, playing Texas Tech, you know, all those years with Mike Leach, very, very similar concepts. And they're gonna stress out
Can
guys.
the splits get wider on the O-line?
Yeah, they did. I don't
think they'll
do that. I think even when he was at Oklahoma State, they didn't do the wide splits. Yeah, Texas Tech with Mike Leach.
Like 12-foot splits.
They had 3-yard splits because they wanted to create a wider pocket.
Right.
For the QB. And a lot of teams, you still line up in your same scenario, but we always you almost lined up head up in a tackle. It was really weird, but you had to do that because you couldn't let them, you know, expand you out and create that bigger pocket. But it's just it's a matchup thing within this offense, and trying to expose those guys and putting those guys in tough situations.
Put them in a bind.
Yeah, put them in a bind. Stress them out.
Yeah.
Just you can't let them sit there in the box and just be like, oh, and you got to get them in some man-to-man coverage situations on the linebackers, and you got to expose them.
Plus, another big part of this is pace, right? Too.
Yes.
You want to go a little bit faster. Could you see Nebraska taking the tempo up a little bit?
I think they've looked their best at times with tempo, but the key with tempo is you got to get a first down.
Yep, first.
Like you can't really run tempo on the first couple of plays. You got to get a first down to roll into tempo, because 2nd and 9 and 3rd and 8, tempo doesn't look very good in those situations when you have to punt it back in 40 seconds.
Throw the defense back out there. Bob on X says he loves the Holgorsen hire. Do you think that this is just for this year, or if you were going to guess, is this the OC for next year?
I think as long as everything goes to plan, this is the guy for the future. And I think for Nebraska, they'll get him at a great deal, too, because Houston will continue to pay Dana Holgorsen for the next 3 years, meaning Nebraska will basically only have to pay him a market Big Ten coordinator salary, the lowest they could get away with. So it's a win-win for everybody if this works out and he's the guy. And you wonder about Satterfield. Satterfield's making $1.4 million right now. He has one more year on his contract. So how that all plays out with him after this season too is something very notable and to watch.
What do you think of the defense going against a more mobile quarterback? Miller Moss was mobile, but Maivei is much more mobile. What do you think about Nebraska's matchup? Because we've seen them struggle a little bit against a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, it's tough. Anytime you have a mobile quarterback, it just stresses you out. Why Nebraska offense struggles at times because Raiola is not the mobility.
Right.
It's 10 on 11 essentially. You get a mobile quarterback now. You're playing 11 on 11 type of football. It just makes that free safety have to come down, and it factors into the run game. So it does stress you out. It just makes you have to be that much more. Your rush lanes have to be cleaner. You have to know where your contained help is. You have to pay. You have to just everything is just. You have to be a little more perfect, and that's hard to do when at this level of football. Sometimes you're playing so quick and so fast, so they're going to get stressed out. I think Nebraska will continue to. Nebraska's a very aggressive defense within this 3-3-5. I foresee them continue to bring pressure, but you got to be controlled at times. And Nebraska struggled against UCLA. A lot of times, a lot of free rushers coming through there and not be able to get Garbers down. You cannot have that against USC's new quarterback. He has the ability to scramble and run. He showed that at UNLV last year. You got to be on point, especially those front seven guys in your rush lanes and getting them down in the pocket when you can.
Real quick, one of the best running backs, complete running backs Nebraska's going to see in Woody Marks this year.
Yeah, and they've done good against running teams. I mean, what Nebraska did against Ohio State, no one's going to do that to those guys all year. Right. So can they get this defense to be locked in at that level?
Yep. You burning question, sir?
Burning question. What is this going to look like? What are we going to be talking about next week? Because I think we're all curious how this sudden change Nebraska's made is going to look like.
I'm excited to see the environment at 3 o'clock in LA.
Yeah.
USC, there's a lot of apathy in that fan base going on right now too. I'm excited to see their fan base versus Nebraska's fan base. Trust me, Nebraska's fan base is still going to travel out there. There's going to be a heavy fan base there. It's excited to see just how everyone's each team's temperature right now going to this game.
Yeah, Californians from Nebraska are going to show up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're going to be on
and the Vegas people and the Phoenix
and
people.
the Vegas and the Phoenix people as well. My burning question is simple. I mentioned it earlier. Can Nebraska get their wide receivers open? This system is designed for that. They target the inside receivers separately from the outside receivers. It'll be interesting to see. And remember, USC does not get pressure on the quarterback. They haven't all year long. So how will Dylan Raiola respond to that as well? Don't forget to head to our website or Facebook page or X account and click on the prediction. Jay, Sean, and I will tell you exactly what to expect in the USC game. The game, of course, versus the Trojans is 3 o'clock on Saturday, the 16th on Fox. And then on Big Red Wrap-Up, Tuesday night, we'll recap the USC game and be joined by special guest Sam McEwen, the editor from the Omaha World Herald. He'll join us as well, live on World, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live at 7 p.m. And then you can watch the re-air at 10 p.m. on Nebraska Public Media. Don't forget to check out the Nebraska High School Classics as well. An amazing show anytime on youtube.com/Nebraska Public Media. Our thanks to the athletic director for the University of Nebraska, Troy Dannon, to Heisman Trophy winner Eric Crouch for being on with us. For Jay and Sean, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week on Big Red Wrap-Up.